Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's me. So, I went to a walk with Lucy this morning, and we were just thinking about talking to a friend of mine, and I began to think about something. My friend's dog's named Luna. Decided to roll around in some grass and stuff, and got poop on her. You know. For those of you that don't understand poop, that's shit. Anyhow, it happens. Dogs do that. Dogs love to roll around. Lucy looks for patches of like clover or something like that to roll around in. She likes the smell, or she's very itchy and she'll roll around to try and get some of the oils from the grass and whatnot. Or she'll, run through the bushes or something like that, trying to get some of that, I guess, to condition the skin. I don't know. I'm just making an assumption. But anyhow, I started to think about this. What exactly happens when a dog? What does a dog start by rolling around in the dirt and getting dirty? Well, let's go this way, okay? First, you got to take the dog home, and the wife doesn't like the smell of the dog, so she says, "Go clean the dog," okay? Because she's not going to do it. So, okay, it's your fault. You go clean the dog. Dry shampoo, shower, whatever. Shower, okay? You put it in the shower. You turn the water on, leave her there for a few minutes, spray some soap on her and rub her down, and she's done. Come out, use a hair dryer, dry her off. Okay, next, the wife looks at the shower and says, "You got to clean that shower. It's filthy. I'm not taking a shower in that. You need to clean it." Okay. So it's really just hair and stuff, no hunks of dirt or poop or anything like that. So you go in there and you clean it up real good and you spray some air freshener around it and everything like that. She says, "Okay, but now look at the bathroom. The bathroom's a mess. You got the steam streaks on the mirrors and everything else. What do you clean the bathroom? Clean the whole room." Okay. So you clean the whole bathroom up. Make it nice and sparkly. It wasn't really that dirty, but you do your thing, right? Clean the toilet and all that stuff, And as you walk out, she says, "Look at this." And it gets started to get ridiculous, right? She says, "You tracked water all over the house, all over the living room, in the kitchen. You need to clean the floor. While you're at it, you might as well dust." Okay. Now, my friend's got a job. Okay, so this is all before he goes back to work, Fortunately, he works from home and he's got a very understanding boss. So he goes around and he cleans the kitchen. The kitchen's not dirty. Nobody cooked anything in the kitchen. It was cleaned last night. So everything. His wife isn't a dirty person and he's not a dirty person. So 15, 20 minutes in the kitchen, it's done. You dust the house and everything like that. And you come back out and you're done. And what is she doing all this time? She's sitting with her feet up in a lounge chair watching soap operas. Now, she's got a job too, but she's not working today. So she's just sitting there. And you look at her and you say, "Anything else, dear?" Knowing full well if she says something else, there's going to be a full-blown argument. So you just don't wait for the answer. You turn around, walk, and go to work. But that's like 2.5, 3 hours of your day shot right there. The whole morning's gone now. So what do? This is life. This is what happens when one little thing leads to another, and to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. That's the problem with life. Okay. Now, that's my little anecdote for today. Now you look at what's going on. Well, we got Trump threatening to execute Democrats who called for a military rebellion. All right, Article 82 of the Uniform Military Code of Justice states that you must obey lawful orders and not obey unlawful orders. Okay, they're telling you don't have to obey unlawful orders. or immoral. There's a whole list of what you go look it up. Article 82 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. This applies to all servicemen. All right, you take the oath. You agree to deal with this shit. All right, so this is what's going on. Your stupidity. You know, Trump needs to keep his mouth shut, because he's bringing attention to the fact that it's quite possible that what he's saying, telling these guys to do, the National Guardsmen and everything like that, and ICE and all these other law enforcement officers, is 100% illegal. The acts that he's committed in the international waters, killing these boats that are supposedly leaving Venezuela ports. I really don't know if that's where they're coming from or not. They could be coming from Cuba for all I know. And he's blowing them out of the water, and he's calling them, he's calling them drug boats. Well, you know, Donnie, it's illegal what you're doing. And people are afraid to tell him that, you know, because he could do it, because there's no checks and balances in place for him, really. You know, he could do whatever the hell he wants. And he says he can't. It's some things he has to be careful about. But most things, he could just, you know, he didn't have to get approval from Congress to commit an act of war, which is what he's doing. He's calling it, he's using the military to enforce laws. There's no law against those boats traveling in international water. Now, he says those boats are headed for America. What if they're not? What if they're headed for Panama? What if they're headed for Cuba? Okay? He can't do this. It's illegal. It's as bad as the pirates in the in the Persian Gulf. You know, that's what he's doing. He's playing pirate. Now he wants to. The people that wanted to revolt and were asking the soldiers not to obey unlawful orders and whatnot. He wants these Democrats executed. Well, listen, folks. If you're going to go that route, we ought to bust him, arrest him because it was sedition, is what he's calling it, the charge. So let's go back to January 6th and say, listen, fat boy, we're going to place you under arrest and we're going to try you for sedition, because what you did in the Capitol that day by instigating that riot was an act of sedition by anybody's standards. And the penalty for sedition is death. Now, I don't believe it's by lethal injection or anything like that. I think it's either hanging or firing squad. If I'm correct as thinking about this. And I'm not going to say anything about what I want or anything there, because it was just that's just bad karma, and I don't do bad karma. I try to avoid bad karma. You know, I got enough bad karma in my life. I don't need to bring any more in. But this is Donnie being Donnie, and it's really. Atrocious that he's getting away with this. Now Trump proposed a new plan for the Ukraine. Now I have a problem with this. Okay, all we do is we sell weapons there. We're not involved in that war at all. Okay, America makes tons of money over there. All right. But Russia wants it now, and so in order for there to be peace, the Ukraine has to sit down and give up its give up its rights to the land, to all the land that Russia's already seized, and some more apparently, from what I understand, that Russia wants, and that's all right. But they don't have any say in this agreement. They're not even sitting at the table right now, as far as I know. This is Trump negotiating on behalf of the people. Well, he's not. He's negotiating on behalf of Russia right now. I would assume. See, he's Zelensky's saying that the Ukraine faces a choice of losing dignity or U.S. support. His remarks come amid a new peace proposal that would force Kiev to cede land, limit its military, and not join NATO in exchange for an end to the war with Russia. And I think that's bullshit. I really do. They should join NATO. And Russia should have to back off. But that's not what Putin wants, so that's not what Donnie wants, you know. Donald can say he settled wars. No, he surrenders. That's how he settles wars, by giving the opposing forces what they want. You know, it's not a fair deal. It's favors Russia. And I think it's wrong. I don't know, what's going to happen. I'm hoping that, I'm hoping that that's it. But we'll see. Let's see what else. J.D. Vance expresses hope that his Hindu wife will become a Christian. And the Hindus are going crazy in India. And I don't think she should. I think she should divorce the bastard before she becomes a toy for this moron. Because he's not going to be president in 2028, so there's no reason for you to hang around and do that. Okay? So bail. Get rid of the dickhead, There's no benefits to staying with him right now. You're taking your he wants you to change everything, but he's not willing to adapt to you at all, from what I understand. You're just arm candy as far as that guy's concerned. Okay, that mayor candidate, Mandani, in New York City, is going to speak to Trump today. That just stupid show. Even Fox's news polls are showing that Trump's aura of invincibility is fading. I never thought he was invincible. I just thought it was taking a long time for the shit to hit the fan. Now, when he said to a journalist, "Quiet, little piggy," the White House comes back and says, "That's just him being open and honest." No, it's not. It's him being a dick, a racist, a misogynist, a scumbag. I could go on and on, Probably could invent a few words to describe that prick. What else can I talk about today? It's Friday. Buffalo lost. The game last night, Buffalo lost to the Commanders, who are playing with a backup quarterback. I got to tell you this. I think that Buffalo's got a problem. Buffalo's been to the Super Bowl a lot. They've never won, as far as I know. I watched them lose 4 in a row. They went 4 years in a row when what the hell was that quarterback's name? Great. He's got throat cancer. He's just bad. I don't know whether he's still alive. He's been battling cancer most of this time out of football. He's just a really good guy. Came from the USFL. He was playing out in California with the likes of Steve Young and Herschel Walker and the rest of them. I mean, anyhow, they lose this game. They're now 6-4, something like that. I think it's 7-4, 6-4, something 7-4. I think it is, and they're in the same boat that they're almost in the same position that Kansas City's in. I don't think either one of these guys is going to make the playoffs. They're playing horrible football, and that's the problem when you become extremely successful as a unit. Number one, you start to age at all positions, and your coach starts to age. You know, we've always done this. This is how we do it. We're going to do it this to you. You know, it doesn't work necessarily that way. Okay, got the picture, folks? Sometimes it doesn't work, and you're old now, and every other team has been building teams to beat you because you're the powerhouse. Like Kansas City, Buffalo actually designed their team to beat Kansas City. Can't beat anybody else, but they can beat Kansas City. Kansas City's old. You know, they have a good tight end in this guy Gray, I believe his name is. They have Travis Kelce, who's old, even though he's doing really good. I watch him play and I can't figure out how the hell he gets open. I think they let him get open. You know, they bet on, maybe they're betting on how many catches he gets, or you know how many points or scores, and they, you know, there's just no reason for what he does to happen. For nobody, with his reputation, that they don't pay attention to him. They don't pay attention to him because he acts old for 80% of the game, and then comes out and whips your ass for 20% of the game. You know, I don't know. But teams get old and they don't, you know, you don't realize that. I'm not saying your reflexes and everything like that, but your vision gets old. Not that you're not 20/20, but you lose a little bit of peripheral vision. You lose the ability to adjust from one view to the next, you know. And I know that because that's happened to me over the years. You know, I was having trouble reading, and I had just turned 40, and I walked into the go get my eyes checked, and the guy says, "You're just old." I said, "Fuck this! I'm just old, and now I got to wear glasses all of a sudden." You know. And now they're worse than they ever were. You know, now I know it's age, and I have to deal with it. But when you're 40 years old, you don't want to hear it. Your doctor that's 80 years old is sitting there, you know, with using a pair of reading glasses but not regular glasses. You know what I mean? You kind of wonder what's going on in the world. I don't know. I really don't. People think I know everything. Well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Who knows? All right, it's Friday. TGIF for those of you that are working. For guys like me, it's just another day in the week. I think I'll be here tomorrow. I'm hoping to. I have a birthday party to go to for one of my grandsons, so I don't know what time I'll be leaving or anything, but you know, they'll let me know when I wake up probably. But that's it for today, and I will see you sometime tomorrow. I just don't know when. And let me put it to you that way. I don't know when I'll be on tomorrow. I'm going to try and get in the morning, you know, and see what happens. But have a great day. Don't forget the subscribe button over on the bottom of the page there, and we shall talk mañana. Ciao.